In fact, I was going to think it was a little too wide, but the line was good. Cornwall actually backing away, staying leg side of that ball to open up the offside. It's a good looking shot. And he bowled him. He knocked him over. What an absolutely big wicket. I thought that's why they would have brought Moti in to face Raheem Cornwall. Cornwall looking for the sweep, playing completely across that ball, and has his furniture rearranged. Nikhil, 19 for 1.
Well, that is a telling blow for the Atlanta Fire because this man has been just dominant at the top. And Gudakesh Moti is why he plays for the West Indies, is why the Stallions X have brought him in. Not afraid of the matchup, even with the hard-hitting Cornwall backed himself and getting the wicket after a couple of boundaries. So Cornwall now gone for 9, and it brings, I think that 13, it brings Sami Aslam to the crease looking to go across, and it just hit the leg stump.
Yeah.
Good way to end the second over, 19 for 1. So Sami Aslam and Stephen Taylor, the partnership that's worked so well all tournament for the Atlanta Fire. They just chased 148 together in the last game in the quarterfinal matchup. And it's going to be spin from that northern end after just one over of Isan Adil.
Certainly played with an amount of freedom. I'll say a little bit more after that.
Tajinder Singh with his off spin. Now you got two left-handers, so it does help with the planning. You can bowl that off spin option pretty much consistently. Cheyenne Jangir.
There would be a very deflating feeling going around for the Fire because their big gun is out. He's not going to be able to play anymore. And when these two opened the batting in the first innings, they had all kinds of freedom playing against what I think you can probably argue was a less talented side. But here, a big wicket has fallen, and Stephen Taylor and Sami Aslam have some work to do.
Yeah, of course, don't forget, can join both semifinals on YouTube, MLC Network. The Lightning taking on Sam Army, a pretty enticing matchup, that one. Quality players, and of course here, this one goes straight up. He hasn't quite got it, but then Nkrumah Bono is inside the circle. I think he'll just get enough to come back for 2. So all of a sudden the situation changes now for the Atlanta Fire because they were used to pummeling bowling attacks that you think were not, didn't have consistent options. But now you look at the Stallions X, you look at the 5 options they have. Scoring is going to be a lot harder, and that's what happens when you increase in terms of the stages of a T20 tournament.
Absolutely, and the two lefties are at the crease now.
Very crafty by Stephen Taylor, just getting under it, and takes a tumble on the way through again.
You yourself are being very kind to Stephen Taylor. I think he was looking to sweep that square. Look at the replay. I think that he was looking to play the square. Absolutely, and it went directly behind him, and then he has trouble staying on his feet after having played that shot. But look, none of that matters. It goes in the scorebook as a 4.
Yeah, he'll be important with the wicket of Raheem Cornwall.
Oh, yes.
Even in that 200 that Cornwall scored, he got 54 from 18, Stephen Taylor, so he can definitely strike it. We know him to be one of the most destructive players in this country. Much improved from Tajinder Singh.
Good bowling by Tajinder Singh. So the Stallions X would have been buoyed by the loss of the wicket of Raheem Cornwall. Taylor in the air and over the top of mid-on. He loves playing that shot, as you mentioned. That's Ravi Bopara, who half-heartedly gave a jump, but he was not going to be able to get that running away for 4. So Stephen Taylor ends things here in the 3rd with a boundary.
overs done, 29 for 1. Isan Adil now, change of ends for him. And it tells you a lot about Gudakesh Moti. Just given the 1 over, you think Brian Walters to get that wicket of Raheem Cornwall. And once he did that, they're happy to keep him probably for the middle of the innings.
I absolutely agree with you. He had one job, I thought, was to try to bowl to Raheem Cornwall and get him out. And he has succeeded in that job. To have done that with 3 overs still in your back pocket if you're Aaron Jones, that is the best of both worlds.
Yeah, another factor that will be contributing as well is the fact that we've got 2 left-handers at the crease, so you don't want to just bowl that left-arm spinner, two left-handers. Rather go with the off-spin option. Bopare, who's been leading wicket taker still to bowl, as this one delicately placed, and he just gets it past that man at point. Sami Aslam and Isan Adil know each other well, both from Pakistan, both playing cricket, a lot of cricket together.
Stephen Taylor, of course, now on strike. A very aggressive batter by nature. Does not like to be tied down for any length of time. He's already 16 from 12. And I suspect that he may take a look, maybe a ball or two, but he's not going to have that pace bowler bowl at him very much without wanting to go after him. So Isan Adil, I think, has his work cut out for him here. I like the right arm over the wicket angle, though.
Well, he's a very dangerous customer, Isan Adil. Took a lot of wickets in the minor league for the Grizzlies, and probably won't be as effective on these synthetic mattings, but on a green pitch, Brian Walters, this man is real trouble to deal with, a handful.
Absolutely. I think he's most dangerous when the ball is able to move laterally. Won't get much lateral movement, as you mentioned, on the synthetic wicket. Isan Adil, truly a brilliant fast bowler.
Inside the 4th over, I think Stallions X won't feel too disappointed with the position at the moment. 31 for 1, keeping things pretty controlled. Still options, and Taylor went really hard at that one.
I mentioned that he's an aggressive batter. He wants to feel the ball coming onto the bats. He wants to feel that. And so 1 or 2 balls may go by, but then he will want to come after the bowler. He always wants to feel like he's the one in charge of the proceedings. And so don't expect him to be tied down very often. Now, he needs to realize that his contribution the rest of the way in the absence of Raheem Cornwall is going to be important. So he needs to, you can be aggressive without taking chances. He needs to keep that in mind.
This time he connects, and this time he'll get 4. May have actually gone all the way for 6. And no, just a bounce. So tells you about the power of Stephen Taylor. And Isan Adil, with this angle pushing the ball across the left hander, he gives him extra width. And he takes full advantage, Stephen Taylor.
Well, I don't mind the angle right arm over, but that angle has to result in the ball being on off stump or maybe 4th stump. That ball got to Stephen Taylor probably on the 6th stump line, just very wide, creating the room for him to just open up the shoulders and play that shot over the top of 3rd for 4.
They just hit it on the up, Stephen Taylor, and used the extra bounce he was able to get. So I did under some pressure. He's not a man that usually is expensive at any phase of the innings, really. Gets a short one, and that may have struck him on the helmet. And Isan Adil coming back. No ball signaled. Sorry, dead ball signaled. Not sure why.
Interesting. I'm not. Maybe it's a dead ball just because they want to check out Stephen Taylor. So my suspicion is that that ball would have counted.
Well, I don't see why you would give a dead ball signal for that. If it's a bounce and it hits him on the helmet, then it should be a okay delivery.
I certainly would think that the delivery would count. And as of right now, the scorecard is showing that the delivery has counted. But umpire Roshane Samuels signaling dead ball, certainly giving the signal for dead ball. In modern cricket, particularly with the concern for concussions, here you see on the replay, very quick, short delivery, And that certainly hit Stephen Taylor in the helmet. And just looking at umpire Shane Samuels, immediately signaling dead ball, I would have to think that the ball counted, wouldn't it?
Andre Fletcher's out in the middle. He's doing the concussion test at the moment. And man of many talents.
Andre Fletcher, true all-rounder. He's a wicket-keeper, batter, first slip fielder, captain, and apparently a physiotherapist. Wow.
But when you do get blows like that, you want to ensure, though, that he's okay. It was a very quick delivery from Easton Adil, and with that extra height, just see, again, it was that line, though. It's all about the line, and hits him pretty hard off side of the helmet. So you want to make sure that he's okay.
Flush on the left side of the helmet, and that's why I mentioned that I like the right arm over the wicket angle, because that angle to a left-handed batter is a very difficult angle to play with a short ball. That same ball bowled from around the wicket makes it easier for the left-hander to get inside of the line, but he was not able to do it because of the angle. A truly brilliant bouncer, and of course you don't ever want to see anyone get hurt, but Ihsan Adil has to be proud that he's delivering the type of delivery with his pace that has shaken up one of the better batters that he'll ever face anywhere in the U.S.
And Andre Fletcher came on the field, but he would have been familiar to a situation like that. Got a very nasty blow in the Bangladesh Premier League not too long ago, so good to see that he's using the experience, but it was all about the length. I don't think it was that short, so it may have just surprised Stephen Taylor, and you do see some variable bounce at times on this synthetic matting. So Ihsan Adil, Stephen Taylor, good news is he looks ready to go and good, which is very good to hear.
Has to go Yorker here, does he not?
Just looks for another one of those short deliveries. This one doesn't bounce as much. Taylor just right in the bounce. One delivery remaining in this fourth over. Sami Aslam's only faced one delivery so far. He's been there for a while. I think he will need to continue that run scoring at least for the next 2 overs inside the power play to make use. That's what the Fire have done extremely well this tournament. They made use of the fielding restrictions, and that is what's helped them just kickstart the innings and get a really good sizable total, because this starting the next batting lineup is one that's pretty powerful with that man Shayan Jahangir, the captain behind the stumps, a man that's scoring runs for fun.
Well, he only scored 127 balls a couple days ago. Tremendous batter. Of course, those of us who are in and around the Houston area have known his exploits for a very long time. Good to see him shining on a bigger stage.
Oh, stylish. Very stylish from Sami Aslam. But, of course, fielded out at that deep mid-wicket position. And the 437 for 1. .37 for 1, 2 overs remaining in this power play, and it's going to be, looks to be Tajinder Singh again. So tons of spin options for Shayan Jahangir to go to. He still has 3 from Moti, but you don't expect to see the left arm spin in operation. He's going to go mainly to his off spin.
I certainly like the move. He did well with his first over inside the power play.
Swept nicely, and no man move at the moment, because Sami Aslam, one of the best players of spin in this tournament, so just too full, overpitched.
Certainly overpitched, and looking at the replay, I suspect you'll see that this is also going down the leg side. Actually, no, that's not true. He swept that from outside off stump, but it was the length that was a problem that time. Right there to be swept, and you're mentioning that Sami Aslam is one of the better players of spin that you'll ever see, having no problem sweeping that one away to backward square for 4.
So, of course, 4 teams battling it out for a place in tomorrow's final. 10 a.m. Only one team can be victorious in this Atlanta Open. Last year was the Atlanta Lightning, who are currently in this year's semi-final. This year, who will it be? Who's your pick out of the 4 if you had to make an early pick? Brian Walters, come on.
Oh, you just love putting me on the spot, don't you?
Yeah, the fans want to know. I mean,
Oh, that was going to be, I believe that's a bump ball. Hammered right back at Tejinder Singh. I think he fielded that on the short hop. If you ask me the question, my answer is I have a really hard time betting against the Atlanta Fire. How's that?
that's interesting because the way that the Atlanta Lightning, I think, are structured, you look at today, the fact that they've added Ashley Nurse, I think they're a real strong team and have a good chance of being consecutive winners. A different team this year, but they made some serious additions. Looking to play that sweep again. Sami Aslam, but picking out that man. Isan Adil's position at that short, fine leg fielding position, mainly for that shot that he just played. Sami Aslam is always like, it's almost like a 45. It's really well bowled by Tejinder Singh because he saw Sami Aslam coming down the track. Really good over from Singh.
Wow.
And it's just the boundary from it. End of 5, 41 for 1. End of 5 and another bowling change for the Stallion X. It's going to be Ravi Bopara, a man with all of his experience from England, of course, former international player. He's got the most wickets in this Atlanta Open so far. And Bopara, of course, with 11 wickets in just 4 innings and an economy of 6.5. So really has been impressive with his cutters, changes of pace, variations, and starts with 1.
You expect for somebody who played for years with England as a batting all-rounder, who always a good, aggressive batter, but I think classically at the international level would have been described as a batting all-rounder. But at this level, you'd expect him to be able to keep that ball in a good length and keep it out of the hitting zone. Remember, we're still inside the power play. This is the last over of the power play. So only 2 fielders allowed outside the circle. There's a man on the deep square leg boundary and also down the fine leg. And this is pulled away. My mistake. That was actually down at square leg. But that is a good shot, well fielded inside the circle.
Yeah, you now have a case where you've got your 2 leading players battling it out for Bopara with the ball in hand, most wickets, and Sami Aslam now at the non-strikers end with the most runs. Stephen Taylor not far behind, so he'll have one eye on that. But the main thing will be for this Atlanta Fire team to register a win and be in tomorrow's final. They're at home, of course, just fishing outside that off stump. 2 Atlanta teams in the semi-final, so they'll want to have that representation, and it would be brilliant, Brian Walters, to have an Atlanta Lightning versus Atlanta Fire final. We saw them battle it out in the minor league, but for the Atlanta Open, I think it would be the best result to have those 2 teams in tomorrow's finale.
Certainly for the home crowd, and I expect to have a few people here tomorrow to witness who's ever in the final. But you mentioned that matchup would be a brilliant one. This is Nkrumah Bonner in the covers. Athletic piece of work to limit the damage there.
Yeah, just a crowd catch from Nkrumah Bonner. But they've done well so far in the last couple of overs to keep Stephen Taylor, I think, relatively quiet, because he was racing at 20 from just 15. Now it's 22 from 19. A couple of tidy overs, and like we saw when the Fire were bowling earlier today, a couple of tight overs brings the game right back after the power play. Going hard again, Taylor, but can't beat that cover fielder. And you just feel like something about to give. Pressure building here on field number 1 in the Atlanta Open.
Well, the body language of Stephen Taylor suggests that he wants to cut loose. And he's going at the ball aggressively. He wants to be able to pierce that gap on the offside. I would not be surprised to see him use his feet and try to get to this ball on the half volley. But Ravi Bopara is doing a good job keeping it out of Stephen Taylor's hitting zone.
Aerial, and hasn't quite timed it. There is a man at that mid-off, and he takes the catch. Couple of bubbles, but he gets it. And Taylor, a danger man, is dismissed. The Atlanta Fire in some trouble.
Wow, that is an absolutely huge wicket. Stephen Taylor looking to go aggressively at that one and skying it, succeeding only in getting it off the splice of the bat, and a good running catch from mid-off. Running backward, look over your shoulder is always going to be a harder catch to take. See him sprinting, but did the hard work to get into the right position and putting that one away easily. That is Waka Salim with that beautifully judged catch. 2 huge body blows as each of the openers, Rakeem Cornwall and now Stephen Taylor, are back in the hutch.
Well, and that's a great way to end the power play. End of 6, 43 for 2. Two wickets taken by the Stallions X, and probably the 2 that they would have wanted the most. First Rakeem Cornwall and then Stephen Taylor. It brings the captain Aaron Jones to the middle. And these 2 can do repair work for the Fire. They've done it in the past, but still not 2 wickets you want to lose early on in the innings.
You absolutely don't want to lose those 2 wickets. I think you can easily say that those 2, Rakeem Cornwall and Stephen Taylor, are the most explosive at the top of the innings. And so Aaron Jones, who typically maybe takes an over or 2 before he gets settled, will want to accelerate that process as quickly as possible. It's now up to Sami Aslam, I believe, who has been there the longest. He's only faced 9 balls, but he's been there time-wise for a while, and of course he batted this morning for his highest score of the tournament, 84 runs if I remember correctly. So he's going to want to make sure that he takes the bull by the horns, because this is not going to be easy from here on out. Again, Aaron Jones, you'd expect that he may take a couple of overs to get started, but time is ticking.
Yeah, strong breeze as well blowing across this Atlanta cricket field. Good to see some of the other players as well in attendance, watching the matchup down to the 4 best. And now with 5 outside the circle, Waka Salim.
Waka Salim, the man who took that brilliant catch, running backwards to his left, looking over his shoulder. Again, those are never easy, but Stephen Taylor is the man who was unfortunately sent back because of the brilliant work of Waka Salim. Now Waka Salim himself with the ball, looking to make further inwards into this Atlanta Fire lineup.
Jones facing his first delivery. So important, this man, Aaron Jones. What a season he had, though, for the Atlanta Fire, taking them all the way to the final and really stepping up when Rakeem Cornwall made his departure from the team and had that Caribbean Premier League duty.
Wow. That's tremendous work. Rakeem Cornwall, of course, making an impact in the league that he plays in, but they would have wanted him to stay there a little bit longer today. Played into the covers for no run. So that run rate coming down a little bit, is now down to 7.1. This powerful Atlanta Fire lineup has definitely yielded 2 huge body blows. It's up to this pair at the wicket to reconfigure things and hopefully push forward towards something around 180.
Very slow this time, and look at this from Aaron Jones. Placement very good, and he thought he was going to get a boundary, but the man did extremely well to run around. He's got to hurry, Jones. Could have been much closer than expected, but he's so fast, Aaron Jones, one of the quickest on the park, and he's able to get back for 2.
Wow. That's Tajinder Singh doing the work there, sweeping on the offside, running around, making some 20-25 yards to his left. Doing well to prevent that from going across the boundary ropes, but as you mentioned, Aaron Jones very, very quick across the wickets, across the ground. And while he's taking a while to get going, this is how he can make sure that the scorecard keeps ticking over. Just use his speed and run those runs hard. Drag Sami Aslam along with you, because it's really important that that scorecard keeps ticking.
Yeah, you also want to set up the game for Jamar Hamilton. I mean, we saw what Hamilton and Sami Aslam were able to do the other day, where they really went off last couple of overs, actually just yesterday against the Bangladesh Tigers, where they got them up to 217 for 5. Hamilton got 47 from 30, and then it was Zia Shazad who also got 53 from 24. So they have power to come, but you need a partnership to at least take you to the 10th over. You don't need to panic, I think, too early, and great running from Sami Aslam. These two, great rapport between each other, and even as you said, not getting the boundary. 7 from the over, you get a single or 2 here. 8 or 9, and you don't hit a boundary in the over. It tells you it can be broken down into a much more simple equation.
100%. And now with that double, the 50 comes up. Run rate now up to 7.32.
Well bowled and good finish from Salim. So plenty of options for Shayan Jahangir to go to. End of 7, 50 for 2. Seven overs, 50 for 2. I think probably the Stallions X at this stage would be the happier of the two teams, but boy would they be happy, because first of all, many did not even have them to be in this, came out of their group, then won the quarterfinal matchup just this morning, and now if they could beat the Atlanta Fire and have a place in tomorrow's final, I'd say really a lot about their side. Strong batting lineup as well, so something to watch out for this Stallions X team.
You mentioned that quarterfinal match this morning. They defeated UMMC Knight Riders by 4 wickets. Shayan Jahangir topping the scoring. You've heard that phrase before. Yeah,
they got a serious batting lineup though. When you look at Jahangir, who's been amongst the runs, then Shehan Surya, the Sri Lankan, and Nkrumah Bonner, the West Indian international, Ravi Bopara with his experience, Shubham Ranjane. So the Fire are going to know that, and they're going to know that they need at least, I think, 180 to 200 on this venue, given the fact that yes, their bowling lineup has been good at times, but they can be expensive.
I would agree with that. And the last couple of matches that they've played teams that are not as packed and as talented as this side. Yeah. The Stallions are really a truly talented side, featuring at least 3 former international players at minimum, probably 4 if you count Isan Adil.
Excellent shot through extra cover by Aaron Jones, and wow, that's a difficult shot to play, but he nails it perfectly to get a boundary, and his team really needed that.
Not a lot of flourish with this shot. Just look at this, just reaching forward, a slower delivery and reaching forward and just stroking it over the top. The bottom hand comes off of the bat in the meantime, but that ball safely over the top of mid-off, going away for 4. Now in response, they're dropping back. Jayasuriya back on the boundary, similar to the exact place where that ball just went. Aaron Jones will have to make that adjustment.
Yeah, we're coming a long way across his stumps. Aaron Jones trying to open up that leg side, but he's such a busy player at the crease. If you ever have a closer look at him, just see how much he moves in his crease, trying to just toy with the mind of the bowler, try to always outthink the opposition.
It's a good attribute to have as a batter. You don't ever want to just sit still and have the bowler just bowl at you. You want to make sure that the bowler can make adjustments. And Aaron Jones being able to do that as easily as anyone else around here.
Don't think we will see Ravi Bopara as this one is played so well and timed so well. Sami Aslam making it just look easy at the moment. The Atlanta Fire, and this is why they're unbeaten in this tournament. Batting lineup just continues to show its depth.
What an absolutely brilliant shot. On that replay, you see him angle the bat towards the slips, just making sure that the ball doesn't go square, it goes behind square, and no way that the sweeper on the offside could have come around in time to get that. That is a brilliant piece of work by Sami Aslam. Mentioned that he's going to be the one who needs to take the bull by the horns here. Now up to 14 from 13 with a lot more work to do.
I was making the point earlier before that boundary. Don't know how much more we'll see of Bopara. He's in his second over. He's already picked up one, but with these variations and cutters, I'm sure he'll be very important in the back end of the innings. They do have Ranjane who can do similar. Ends a decent over for the Atlanta Fire. Or no, it doesn't. I think we have one more delivery in this over. It's already conceded some 10 runs though, so it's been a fruitful one for the Fire and helping them to get that run rate close to that 8 and over. Can just see though that cutters and variations from Ravi Bopara just causing the ball to do a bit of extra something in the surface. End of 8, 61 for 2. End of 8 overs, and the Fire fighting their way back at the Atlanta Great Fields. Second edition this of the Atlanta Open. And balls traveling from all around.
Wow.
That game behind us, Sam Army and the Atlanta Lightning producing some big maximums. Classic one to keep your eye on because, of course, the winner of that plays the winner of this. 5 options used for Cheyenne Jangir and the Stallions X. Waqas Salim bowled a good first over, just conceded the 7 runs.
Cheyenne Jangir, obviously a thinking captain, using his bowlers according to the situation and according to what he wants to accomplish.
Jones goes big, and it's an area where he loves to hit spinners. And no car is safe in that car park. We've already seen a windshield being broken. He just tugs it from outside the off stump. It's not the most classical looking shot, but it's so effective. Aaron Jones hitting with the wind as well, thinking the game.
Look where he drags that from, dragging it from probably a 5th stump line from well outside off stump and hammering it over deep mid wicket for 6. Aaron Jones, not a very tall man, doesn't have a great reach, but somehow is able to play that shot with consistency, reaching outside off stump and bringing that ball, dragging it over mid-wicket for 6.
And you just feel the tempo increasing now.
Oh!
And pulls this one. And it will get it over that man. So back-to-back maximums coming for Jones and the Fire. This is a ground where this man has played his cricket for the last 3 years. He knows it so well. And they pick up another maximum. Big over so far. And the leg spinner Salim, sorry, the off spinner, just getting it wrong in terms of his length.
Well, he got the length wrong, and the line, I think, from around the wicket needs to be more outside the line of off stump. That was from around the wicket and probably ending up around middle and leg. So not much risk in playing an aggressive shot to that ball. If he misses, no chance that he'd be giving out leg before with the ball from outside off. Of course, we're having to pay attention in all directions here as the ball keeps flying around. Nikhil, I'll be very happy when we only have one game to watch tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Oh, hit on the back leg, and the fingers goes up slowly. How often do you see this in this game of cricket? 2 maximums, and then Jones. This one may have just skid on and surprised him, and he's caught in front. And that is a huge comeback for Waqas Salim. Another short delivery, probably got away with it.
It was short, it skidded on, it stayed low, and from around the wicket, umpire Owen Brown would have had to have a long think to see whether A, that ball pitched on, and B, whether or not that would have hit the stumps. We're not in a direct line with the pitch here, so hard to tell. But umpire Owen Brown having no doubt, having a quick think and then raising that finger. And based on the reaction from Aaron Jones, I think he'd be inclined to agree with Owen Brown, reluctantly I might add. But the third wicket goes down. What a huge body blow that one is.
Yeah, that's the thing to note. This replay that we have is not directly centered, so really and truly the umpire's got the best eye. Looked to be close though in 2 counts. Did it pitch in line? And would it go on to hit the stumps?
So for a right-hand off-spinner to get an LBW to right-handed batter from around the wicket, that's not easy. 2 things have to happen. Number 1, the ball has to be pitching in line. So I would think that ball would have been pitching on leg stump. And then number 2, there has to have been enough inward motion, so there's a little bit of turn there for that ball to come back and hit the stumps. That's not very easy to do as a bowler. When you go around the wicket as a finger spinner to a right-hander, you're generally just trying to cut down the angle to keep the batter quiet. You can't often expect to get LBW decisions that way. But this time, Owen Brown sufficiently satisfied that those conditions were satisfied.
So Zia Shahzad, Sami Aslam, 2 very good friends. The 2 Pakistani players for the Fire out in the middle.
Wow.
And just yesterday, Zia Shahzad got that aggressive 50. They'll need some more of that. Jones was just trying to increase the intensity of the innings. Had hit 2 maximums in the over, but then having to go. So Zia Shahzad, he won't look to stick around too long. He likes to play his shots, and very early as well. But a great over for the Stallions, getting the crucial wicket of the captain. End of 9, 74 for 3. So we've seen a plethora of spin options, and they're continuing to be used by Jahangir. And these 2 will know Ihsan Adil very well. They all played in the Golden State Grizzlies together. You just saw that friendly gesture from Adil, leading his teammates.
Gudakesh Moti back into the attack. Time to start thinking about what type of score we would have here. I'll say more after this ball.
Easy catch and gone. Goes short. Gudakesh Moti. Zia Shahzad looking to pull and doesn't time it. Spoons up in the air, and Moti first making an impact in his first over to get Cornwall. And now the big wicket of Zia Shahzad. The Fire in trouble. 2 wickets in 2 overs now.
Fire definitely in trouble, looking to pull that ball, but only succeeding in spooning it off sort of a leading edge. The simplest of return catches. As a bowler, you'd never want to see a simpler catch than that. And just an easy catch to take. The 4th wicket down. There are 4 big wickets back in the hutch. Scoring on 74 for 4. And I started saying, Nikhil, time to start thinking about what the sort of target would be. that the Fire would be setting. They're currently scoring at the rate of 8.07. This exact rate, as you see on the replay, looking to pull that one and only just having it come off the splice and just looping right back to Moti for the easiest of catches. But at the current rate of 8.7, they get to 161. With the batting firepower that the Stallions X have, I don't think 161 will be enough. They're going to want to hopefully aim for something along the region, in the region of 180. To be able to do that, they'd have to score 10 and over from here.
Well, for me, it comes down to this partnership. Jamar Hamilton, Sami Aslam. Yes, they have some hitters to come, you could say. Corner Dry, Emilio Ponzo, but these two really the respected batters in this Fire lineup. And you always had to ask the question, how would their batting fare when they came up against a much formidable bowling lineup? So now they're being tested against the Stallions who've got international players. And this is cricket, really a game on the day. Doesn't matter how you do leading up to this. When you come to this semi-final, whoever can be best on the day.
That's what it's going to come down to. Having said what I just said, though, don't discount the idea of scoreboard pressure in a knockout match, in a semi-final. So maybe something along the lines of 160 translates in a less pressure game to about 185, 190. So that also has something to do with it.
160 runs, still a long way away from this stage. Gets a good one. Moti very quick. This man was great in the Super 50. Got himself a West Indian pick and has been pretty consistent in that ODI team, West Indies ODI team. So to have him and have Nkrumah Bonner, who's part of the West Indies test team currently, gives them that experience. I really thought they underperformed in the group stages. When you look at the team that they have, really probably should have topped that group.
Oh, there's no doubting the talent that is on this team, though. Bonner, I'm really interested in seeing how well Bonner plays on the surface. Obviously, you mentioned him being in the test side for the West Indies. Saw him score 100 earlier this year.
They finished second in their group to the Atlanta Lightning, and they lost that game against the Lightning. They only posted 181 in their 20 overs, and the Lightning chased it down pretty easily. But since, they've really come to form. They've won 3 in a row. And looking for a 4th here, the Stallions X.
Boy, this is such good work. If you are the Stallions X, you will take this scorecard 10 times out of 10, given the batters who've already been dismissed, given the state of play of the entire innings. You definitely will feel that you're on top of this game. Good running, just punching it into the covers for a quick single. 2 balls short of being halfway through this innings with only 77 runs on the board, and 4 wickets have already fallen. Not what you would have wanted for the Fire when you won the toss and decided to go in and bat.
Looking for 2, but will just be a single. Sami Aslam, leading run scorer in the tournament. Now he's going to have to prove himself against such a good bowling attack. But they continue to take wickets, the Stallions X.
Wow. Regular wickets too, not allowing any partnership of any substance to develop. Sami Aslam been there now since the dismissal of Rakeem Cornwall. He's at 15 from 15 with 2 fours. Jamar Hamilton only 2 from 2.
What a delivery. Just spinning past the outside edge. And the 10 halfway stage, Stallions X on top. 78 for 4. So back live, 10 overs remain. 78 for 4. As Shubham Ranjani for the first time, another one of the many options that Jahangir has in this Stallions X team. Ranjani, of course, was the player of the match in the final of the minor league, and was so important for the Seattle Thunderbolts when he came into their team later in the tournament.
Good bowler. He's not going to blow you away with pace, but what he does well is change his pace effectively and generally keep it on a good line and a good length. So he's the type of bowler, though, that if you're the Fire, you're going to want to think, all right, where are we going to get runs from? Where are we going to be able to accelerate? He may be a bowler they try to target.
So far, Hamilton and Sami Aslam. Runner ball 17 is not characteristic of what we've seen from Sami Aslam in this tournament, but clearly with wickets going out the other end, he's had to minimize the risk that he takes.
Shaheen Jahangir doing a good job of mixing up his bowlers so far. No bowler has bowled more than 2. Just defended into the offside. And Nkrumah Bonner is keeping the ball from rolling away into the outfield. But just solid bowling all the way around. Gudakesh Motie, you could argue, has been the best of them so far. 2 overs, 2 from 17. But all of the bowlers have done their part to restrict the Atlanta Fire.
And whoever comes out of this will be a serious challenge for the finalists, but of course they won't be thinking about that just yet. Still 30 overs to play and a lot of cricket to be played.
Long way to go. We still have another 56 deliveries in this innings.
Look at what's to come for the Fire. Leif Solomon can bat. Aponzo and Cornidra are mainly known as hitters of the ball, so these pair being, I would say, the last respectable pairing for the Fire, and if they can get them to the 15th over, target maybe another 40 runs in the next 5 overs. Look at 120 with a platform, then look for 50 off the last 5. You can be up to 175. The problem is they've lost 4 wickets. They don't have Aaron Jones, they don't have Stephen Taylor.
I think you're exactly right that this pair that is now at the wickets, a lot will depend on their ability to bat through maybe that 16, 17 over mark.
End of the 11th. Very tidy from Shubham Ranjani. 5 singles, 83 for 4. Nine overs left in this encounter. Brian Walters, remember, it's win or go home in this semi-final. What score will the Fire be looking for?
Said it a couple overs ago, 160 would be the minimum.
I don't think it's enough.
180 is ideal. Minimum. 180 is ideal. This pair needs to bat through the 17th and then have the Cornidras and the Miller Ponsos come down the order and throw their bats. Anything short of that, they're going to end up somewhere around the 150, 155 mark, which I don't think is going to be enough. At minimum, they have to be at 160, and I would tend to think that 180 would look a lot better to them.
And it won't be easy as well. It should just be 1, because you look at 4 overs, at least 4 of the next 9 will be bowled by Isan Adil and Ravi Bopara, and they'll get an extra run from the overthrow. So good awareness by these 2. But Jamar Hamilton, we know the power that he possesses. I think it's only a matter of time before something has to give, and he looks to go after 1. How long can he contain himself is the real question. Oh, got the length. Really missed out there, Brian. He got that length to go big with that one, Sami Aslam.
Hitting opportunity. I think what is more important, rather than deciding when to go big, is that these two are still two good athletes. They can sprint between the wickets and the field is spread out. Look at this. There's absolutely nobody inside the circle in front of square on the onside. So 2 runs are here for the taking anytime they want them. They need to look for ways to manufacture runs until they start hitting big.
But I think what Cheyenne Jahangir is saying to the Fire is, we don't mind you taking the 1s and 2s. That's not really going to take the game away from us at this stage. The run rate just 7.5. Don't think they mind giving those up. Also, the line that he's bowling, very fast outside the off stump. He's backing his bowler in Singh to be consistently on that off stump or 4th stump line. So far, so good in this over as well. Just 3 runs. And Hamilton under some pressure as the dots accumulate. And that's exactly what you said, looking for the single. But a really fantastic over from Singh. Completes his 3rd. And now we got 1 more left. So 4 runs conceded from the over. Gotta hope, though, that can close up without conceding a boundary.
Oh, it's on Sammy Aslam now, is it not? Has to be. Been there 21 deliveries, scored 22 runs. Needs to get that strike rate up.
Again, well stopped by Bonner. Keeps it just a single. And now the over comes to an end, just 5 runs from it. And something going to have to give at this stage for the Atlanta Fire because pressure really accumulating after 12, 88 for 4. So more cutters and more variation out of the hand of Shubham Ranjani. First over just went for 5 runs. Did you watch the minor league final, Brian? You were there. You were working.
I was there. I was working. There's a difference between working it and watching it. Unfortunately, there's a huge difference. Slashed away in the outfield. This is what they need more of. Sammy Aslam finally getting a ball that he can hit, opening up that front leg and smashing that through backward point for 4.
Just went there so quickly. And Sammy Aslam, the leading run scorer in this tournament, is going to be so important to this effort by the Atlanta Fire. Great way to start the over, though, because the last couple were just very economical. They weren't getting much. The Fire.
To your point, 11th and 12th overs, each going for 5 runs. So the screws really being turned by the Stallions X. So a good way to start the over for the Fire by Sammy Aslam, who's now up to 27 from 23. Cheyenne Jahangir, always such a communicative captain, sprinting the 25 or so yards down to his bowler to make sure that he gets the message. They had a brilliant start so far. The Stallions X don't want anything to go wrong here.
It was the first boundary in 3 overs for the Fire. And Sammy Aslam, you think, maybe looking to go to gear 2. No. Wonder if he or Jamar Hamilton will take on the aggressor role. Just wonder if they may want Sammy Aslam to stay there and try to bat to the 20th over. It's something that he's done in almost all the matches for the Atlanta Fire this season. Hamilton goes for it, and he hasn't got it. He's walking a wicket. You just sense tension and sense pressure building. And looking to go across the line, it comes off the top edge. And this Stallions X bowling lineup, formidable. It's continuing to cause problems.
Ehsan Adil getting another simple catch. Some really simple catches being offered by the Fire here. A top edge, just spooning ever so easily. And I'll tell you what, 5 wickets down, half the side back in the hut, and they're not even at 100 yet. So that 160, 170 mark looking like it's further and further away.
But he tried to go big over long on, but didn't get the length to be able to hit in that area. And now dismiss Jamar Hamilton. It brings Liam Solomon to the middle. But that is not what you want when you're already behind the 8 ball. 93 for 5 now. The Fire. Remember, this is a semi-final knockout game.
Liam Solomon coming in a very pressure-packed situation here. The young man, as you mentioned, he can hit a little bit, but he wants to be able to come in and play with a certain amount of freedom. This situation, you have to balance aggression with caution, because you know that you have to have runs. You know that you want to push on toward a target that you'd be able to defend, giving your bowler something to bowl at. But you cannot be reckless, because 5 already back in the hut. You don't want to get into the tail too early. And as I mentioned earlier, this Fire's team bats all the way down to 9, but you don't want to expose the bottom of that order too early.
Well, Solomon, a man that joined the Atlanta Fire team during the minor league season. Pretty late on, about halfway, but since has been a staple of the side. I think he'll need to just rotate the striking, give Sami Aslam the majority of deliveries at this stage. Much more experience in man at the moment.
I like the idea that you mentioned, Nikhil, about wanting to make sure that Sami Aslam is the man who bats through the innings. But even in batting through the innings, even if you play that role, you still have to score more quickly.
What a delivery, really, from Shubham Ranjane, and I think he's such an underrated option with the ball in hand. Some delivery there to leave Solomon first up.
Absolutely stunning delivery. Here we see coming up on the replay, slanted in from over the wicket, and then just dancing away just a touch. You see Solomon pulling the bat back, but that was after the ball had already gone through.
Pace off this time and left outside that off stump. So it ends with a flurry of dots, but a wicket coming in the over for Shubham Ranjane. End of 13 overs, 93 for 5.
93 for 5, and Nikhil, the last 4 overs have gone for 4, 5, 5, and 5. There have been 19 runs scored in the last 4 overs, a true deceleration at this stage of the innings where you'd think that the Fire would be looking to accelerate.
Yeah, they're just continuing to pile on the pressure, and so often we see it in this game of cricket where when you take wickets and you bring a new man to the crease, it causes you to just slow down the rate. That new man will take some time. This one is swept, it's in the air, and could be another one, is another one. And it's Sami Aslam. And you think that could be the hopes of the Fire getting to a competitive target with that wicket, looking to play that strong sweep shot. And the Fire lose their 6. May have hurt himself in the process, but the main thing is he's held on and taken a really good diving catch, that backward square fielder.
What an absolutely brilliant catch. We'll check on his status in a minute. From around the wicket, slanted down the leg side and hit well, but dying as it got to that fielder deep backward square leg. See him limping a little bit. Definitely appears to have hurt himself. And I'll tell you what, Tajinder Singh has yet another wicket. Really good work here. Let's see again on the replay. Just bending down on one knee and sweeping that one. And carried all the way down, but not far enough. And unfortunately, he really does appear to have hurt himself. That's Ali Samad. Really serious limp. He's really having trouble moving. And in fact, it appears that he's hobbling off the field. So he may have to have a substitute. But as you mentioned, Nikhil, the important thing is that he did the hard work to hold on to that catch. And we mentioned Corny Dry earlier. Corny Dry prefers to be coming in the 18th or the 19th over, throwing his bat around. He's now being asked to assist in consolidating in the 14th.
Yeah, work to be done for Dry. Do have Emilio Ponzo as well who can hit it, as well as Everett Dyer, but you lose Sammy Aslam. You just felt it was the couple of overs building up to that point that set that wicket up. He didn't have the luxury of just pushing it around Sammy Aslam. It was uncharacteristically slow from him, just about a run a ball, and has already had to adjust things. So the Fire now in some trouble. 93 for 6.
Well, they're in a lot of trouble. You mentioned the pressure that was building because of the slow rate. The last 5 overs, if you count, make that the last 4 overs and 2 deliveries of this over, have gone for 19 runs. So the brakes really been applied. And some real work to be done here for the Fire if they're going to get anything close to a total that their bowlers can feel comfortable defending.
And I think from the time they took that Aaron Jones wicket, after he struck the 2 sixes, then got the wicket of Jones, they just continue to take full control of this game. The Stallions, Gurikesh Moti, just pulling the 2 overs. He's already picked up 2 wickets. This is pulled, but in front of square. There is that fielder there. You have 2 from Adil, 2 from Moti, 2 from Bopara, who's been the leading wicket taker, and then tons of spin options.
Ravi Bopara and Ehsan Adil, I think, will be important. I want to see how each of these batters approaches those bowlers, because they're very difficult to get away. Generally speaking, after the first couple of overs, the Fire has really not looked like the same side. They've had trouble really getting the ball off the square and have given some really tame catches.
Excellent stuff to continue to take wickets, getting the big one of Sami Aslam in that over, and it ends the 14th, 96 for 6. Bye.
14 overs up, 96 for 6. Fire in all kinds of trouble here, playing at home, trying to put themselves in the final, but they're up against a buzzsaw, a really vitalized Stallions X lineup. Really good, solid bowling, aggressive fielding, grit captaincy by Shaheen Jahangir.
It's going back to Ranjani, and why not? Actually, no, it's Ravi Bopara. Another one of the many wicket-taking options, but just a change of ends. He's taken Shubham Ranjani out of the attack. Harsh, really. 2 overs, 1 for 10, Brian. What has he done wrong?
Maybe he's holding him back for when Cornerdry starts playing the role that Cornerdry would prefer to play, which is hitting big in the 17th and 18th and 19th overs. Cornerdry just now defending that one. I'll tell you what, a good single take, and what it's so important to still keep the scoreboard ticking. You want to be able to still take those singles when they're offered. But look at that run rate now. That run rate all the way down to 6.77, Nikhil. It was hovering up around 9 for a while. It is all the way down to 6.7 in the 15th over of the innings.
Again, this time seam delivery, and going through, just getting a bit of extra bounce and causing some problems here.
Oh, just an absolute deceleration taking place here by the Fire. Another dot ball. The current run rate of 6.61 takes them to 132, Nikhil. It is nowhere near what they would need to score to get through to the final.
Someone doesn't have to play a blind of an innings here. I think it could be Cornet Dry. We know his hitting ability, but someone is going to have to put their hand up. He goes straight up, and Power is on the chase. Don't think he'll be able to get there. Just out of the reach. Would have had another wicket to the tally. Instead, it falls safely. Not even 100 yet inside the 15th over the Fire.
Oh my goodness. One ball remaining here in the 15th. Only 20 runs coming from the last 5 overs. Has to be said. We've said it a couple times already. The Stallions are truly dominating this match so far. You know, a cricket match obviously takes 2 innings, but you'd have to think at this stage that the Stallions are a nose ahead of this pair.
Off the outside edge, and just looking to turn it into the onside, miscued. Down to deep third. Another very tight over from Ravi Bopara. Just 2 runs conceded, and the 15, 98 for 6. Five overs remain, and they're going to need something here. The Atlanta Fire, they want to have a respectable total on the board. It's going to be Moti. Still 2 overs remaining, already picking up 2 very important wickets. One of Rakim Cornwall and next of Zia Shazad. Look at his, sorry, Brian, you look at his numbers. Quick there leaves Solomon. He's so aggressive and so much better against right-handers than he is against left, which is pretty expected given the fact that he's a left-arm spinner.
Absolutely. I was about to say I like the fact that they've gone to Gudakesh Moti here. Still has 2 overs, make that 1 over and 5 balls left. And you want to have him bowling at these batters down the lower order. You'd think they'd be more inclined to hit big, but we see that slip fielder now coming into play because that ball will be leaving these 2 righties. And there is the ball leaving that right-hander. Exactly what you'd expect. A great ball here by Gudakesh Moti.
This one flighted and bit of indecision. Has to hurry at the bowler's end. Direct hit. Solomon gave up and would have been short of his ground. In the end, survives though. Ravi Bopara in it, not able to hit the stumps from there. They need someone. I think it has to be Cornet Dry. Just hit a few 6s and get some momentum going in this innings. So right now, it's all the way of the Stallion X.
What brilliant bowling this is. Just another single. Their current rate, Nikhil, takes them to 129. So you see that number continuing to go down repeatedly as it gets close. Oh no, I have a young lady of maybe 3 or 4 years old running across the cricket field, not the safest place for her to be. She insisted on going to deep fine leg for some reason. That's not a safe place for her to be. Thankfully, someone coming onto the field.
That looked like in international cricket where people run on the field and then you see security running behind and can't catch them. That's exactly what it looked like.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, back to the action. What a great spell of bowling here by Gudakesh Moti so far.
Yeah, he's very quick through the air today in this spell, Gudakesh Moti, and it's what's caused the likes of Cornwall, etc., to be beaten for pace. Really, this Stallions X formidable bowling lineup. Maybe even the best in the tournament. And you look at it, there's so many options for Shayan Jahangir to go to. all very aggressive and all showing the ability to take wickets.
Shubham Rangjani, Ravi Bopara, of course Ihsan Adil, Skyer. Who wants it? It is going to be Nkrumah Bonner. Did he take that?
He did, and
he did take that.
after a couple of attempts, but really and truly, would have expected to take that on first attempt. He may have actually hit him on the body as well. Let's hope he's okay. Nkrumah Bonner.
Wow. In any event, yet another wicket goes down. Looking at this replay, as soon as we can get it skied in the air, took a very long time to come down. Probably came down with icicles on it. Here we see looking for that big shot, and here you see Bonner going back into position, bobbles it, takes it on the third attempt, and I think he's just satisfied that he was able to put that one away. That is the 7th wicket goes down, 102 for 7 after 16. One or two for 7 after 16. It will be Ravi Bopara to complete his spell. What a great spell for him so far. 3 overs, 1 for 14.
Then they do have Ihsan Adil, who can still come back into the attack, or he can go to the cutters of Shubham Rangjani. And let's not forget, in terms of previewing what they have with the bat in hand, the Stallions, Shehan Jahangir has been powerful with the bat in hand. And then, of course, Shehan Jayasuriya and Nkrumah Bonner himself. So many options.
Ravi Bopara.
Yeah, so much depth in this Stallions X side. Just 103 for 7. As Everett Dyer comes to the middle, he can give it a whack as well.
Just another 23 deliveries remaining in this innings. Everett Dyer, big fast bowler, would be looking to hit this one over corner, I would think. I'm not taking that chance just yet.
There goes seam up and hard length to Dyer. Probably can expect that you will try to hit that ball across the line. So when you get that sort of length, very hard to manipulate from that area. And he's adding another man on that leg side boundary. Fine leg going back on the boundary.
That's exactly right. And in fact, we're now in the 17th over. You see down here in front of us, Nikhil, Ihsan Adil warming up.
He's picked that one up, but straight to the man in the lap of deep mid-wicket, who takes the catch easily. And it's another one going down for the Atlanta Fire. In real problems now, 103 for 8.
Well, you saw that one coming. You figured that a tail-ender like Dyer would be aiming in that direction. You correctly pointing out that they strengthened the leg side field. And Dyer aiming for that deep square leg fence. Only succeeding in lofting it, but not all the way where he wanted it. Maybe the fielder inside the circle by about, let's say, 2 or 3 yards, easily pouching it. And yet another wicket goes down. The score now 103 for 8. This will be a Ponzo coming in. And all of the options for big hits are now running out one by one here, Nikhil. Where do you go to manufacture another, well, let's say 23, 24 runs? Because at this stage, I think the 160s, 70s, and 80s we're talking about may be out of reach. What can you do to make sure that you get to at least 140?
Well, I don't think they can be thinking about any runs at this stage. They have to ensure that they bat the full quarter of 20 overs. You don't want to leave any overs out there.
Right.
Amila Ponzo still very capable with the bat in hand.
Absolutely amazing. This is a stunning development. I don't think any of us who were preparing to watch this game would have anticipated that it would have gone the way that it has so far. Just looking through your options, I mentioned that Ihsan Adil, I saw him warming up a couple of deliveries ago. I would suspect that he would bowl overs 18 and 20.
Could have been another chance of a catch as well. But these two very capable in Emilio Ponce and Lieb Salmon. They've got to get to at least 120. Run a ball is the bare minimum. Give yourself a chance of defending, but as we've seen, it's going to be very hard to defend. This morning, 148 was finished off pretty easily by the Fire. Today, though, they won the toss in this semi-final and opted to bat first. It just hasn't gone to plan.
I absolutely agreed with the idea of winning the toss and batting first, but you know, the execution with the bat just has not been there today thus far for the Atlanta Fire.
Tomorrow's grand finale, of course, 10 a.m. So you don't want to miss that. If you're in Atlanta, you want to come down to the ground and really get the full atmosphere. Pace off, and this man is just so adept at these slower balls, these cutters, and it's why he's picked up 13 wickets this season, and he's just been so good. Ravi Bopara, no long run up, just very steady, and really been a handful.
Look at his hand speed. The hand speed gives almost the illusion that it is coming with pace on, but that subtle change makes it so difficult to spot, which is why that slow ball is so effective. And once again, beating Liv Sarman outside off stump. Another over ends with paltry numbers of runs. Brilliant spell by Ravi Bopara.
Ends an excellent spell, and it's all about that height, I think. So low to the ground, center of gravity much lower, and it's causing some to just stay down. End of 17, 104 for 8. Ihsan Adil will come back into the attack for his final two. Expect him to bowl this one and probably the last. Bowl two up front with that new ball.
Yeah, just as expected. Saw the big fast bowler down here warming up, and he bowled well. His first spell, 2 overs, none for 14. Of course, he bowled those 2 in the power play. And the first delivery of his innings, or of the innings, and of his spell, was crashed over the top to Rakeem Cornwall. Take that away, and he's bowled 2 overs for 10 runs. So really effective bowling here by the entire team for the Stallions. Ihsan Adil looking here to close his spell out.
That shows you the difference in options that Jahangir has had for his bowling lineup. Someone like a Bopara, who mainly focuses on those cutters and slower balls, then Ihsan Adil, who will put a strong wrist behind the ball, try to hit a hard length and deceive batters with his pace. Beat the outside edge with that extra bit of pace.
Of course, he does have the pace. Remember earlier that he planted a short delivery on the left side of Stephen Taylor's helmet.
Misses run up there, Ihsan Adil. But certainly this Stallion's X, and if Shayan Jahangir gets off in the manner that he has this season, well, this could be over very quickly if they don't get to that 120 at least, you think. But you never know. Quick wickets in this game makes it a funny thing. This is T20 cricket, and the pressure will be on in an elimination matchup just within that tram line. So no wide signal. And that again, Good length delivery, which just seemed to get a bit of extra bounce and surprised Emilio Aponzo.
Don't necessarily have an issue with that type of delivery. There's a man down deep, a third man, or third, and in the position for that slash where Emilio Aponzo ever to make contact with it. But so far, he has not been able to lay a bat on any of these deliveries from Isanadil.
Flat batted straight, and it worked to be done by that long on fielder. It gets around well in the end, just be a single. So again, going to that hard length, which is hard to hit.
Slapped right down the ground. That's not the easiest of shots to play against the bowler of Isanadil's pace. Emilio Aponzo, of course, I think, again, wanting to balance the objectives of batting through the innings with putting a score on the board that their bowlers will be able to aim at. A couple changes now as Long off, going into position. That's Shehan Jayasuriya dropping back from mid-off. This is Liv Sarman, who's going to be asked to assist in pushing that total along. Once again, nobody inside of the circle on the leg side in front of square.
Again, another single won't hurt them at this stage.
This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. 2 balls remaining here. 13 runs in the kill in the last 5 overs. Just absolute deceleration at rate now exactly at 6. The scoring rate is exactly at 6, and we're into the 18th over.
Excellent delivery again from Adil, targeting the body.
Almost catching Aponzo by surprise. Almost had him backing away at the last second, trying to defend that ball, keeping it away from the leg stump. So just 1 delivery remaining here in the 18th. What an absolutely stunning start by the Stallions to this game.
Yeah, not many would have had them really to be in this position against this Fire team that were unbeaten with all the power in their batting lineup. But you just always felt they were top heavy, and that middle order was never really tested because of how strong the top 3 and top 4 were doing in the tournament. End of 18, 106 for 8.
Wow.
So 2 overs remain, and it's going to be Moti now. A change of ends for him for his final over, but he's already picked up 3, and the damage, you could say, has already been done.
There's no question. Such a brilliant bowling effort, and kudos to the captaincy so far by Shehan Jahangir, using his bowlers very effectively. This ball is pulled into the deep square leg. Is there to cut things off just for 1 run. Budakesh Moti being used very judiciously by Shehan Jahangir. Bowled the 2nd over, used 2 other overs in the middle of the innings, and now coming in to bowl the penultimate over of the innings, and that left arm spin is really working wonders so far. Big wave and a miss.
And clearly nothing going their way.
Absolutely not.
At the moment, the Atlanta Fire just haven't been able to find the boundary, and those are gold in T20 cricket. Aponzo getting this one well this time, though. That will stop the drought, and finally able to find the boundary. Emilio Aponzo.
You mentioned it yourself, Nikhil, that Emil Alponso can hit big. And this was a drag me down. Maybe the first ordinary ball that Gudakesh Motie has bowled today. Just dragging it down halfway and pouncing on it and hitting toward mid-wicket. It's a good stroke.
Back down the ground this time, but much straighter and in the path of that long on fielder.
Or just one delivery remaining in Gudakesh Motie's spell. 7 more deliveries remaining in the innings.
Yeah, and those singles aren't going to hurt the Stallions at this stage. Want to ensure, I think they minimize the damage. End of the over, 1 remains. 6 deliveries in the innings, 113 for 8. The other semi-final, the Samp Army side taking on the Lightning. 166 with 7 balls remaining in that inning, Samp Army, so could be a pretty exciting matchup. Goes pace off this time, good start, and what's key there is no change of the arm speed from Isan Adios. Doesn't go to that slower delivery often, but when he does, very hard to play.
I would agree with you. I mentioned the same thing about Ravi Bopara earlier on. It's what makes that slower ball so effective is that you cannot read it coming out of the hand. Some bowlers sort of tip their hand when they're about to bowl that slower delivery. Isan Adil and Ravi Bopara both able to bowl that slower delivery without any noticeable change in action.
Very full, and that's hit really hard. It's timed beautifully, and Shehan Jayasuriya should have stopped it at that long off position, but don't think he picked up the ball in time. But he just timed it so well, Emil Alponso, and it's helped him get to something respectable at this stage now.
Yeah, just clearing the front leg and smashing that one right down the ground. Shehan Jayasuriya reacting very late, and then of course extending the arms outward afterwards, saying, I don't think I picked that up in time.
This one though stays low, and it's very hard to hit that length from the back foot, not coming forward.
Down to the last 3 balls of this innings. Isan Adil, 3.3 overs so far, none for 21. Just going to be asked to keep things quiet. Just wants to make sure that Emil Alponso doesn't have the opportunity to free his arms and getting in the big shots.
Goes straight up, hasn't quite got the power on it. This time Jayasuriya under it, and this time he takes it. Looking straight into the sun, not an easy catch, but he completes it. And Emil Alponso, after a few quick strikes, has got to depart. And the Fire lose their 9th, score 118.
Absolutely incredible. Off the splice of the bat again, went very high in the air. Jayasuriya had a week to think about it, but judged it to perfection and taking it just around stomach height, maybe 10 yards in from the boundary. So the 9th wicket is down, 118 for 9. Unbelievable scenes here with 2 balls remaining. Can you believe that there actually is a chance of the Atlanta Fire being bowled out before they get to 20 overs?
Yeah, a team that showed their dominance in terms of with the bat in hand. But now, a good bowling lineup against them, and clearly they haven't packed the same power that we've seen in this tournament in the first 4 games, including that quarterfinal. A team just with Maniam, the last man, out to the middle.
Subramanian, a young man. I would suspect he's around 19 or 20. And he's facing up to a wily, cagey fast bowler here, Isan Adil.
There it is. The delivery that you bowl to lower the batters, the full straight and at the stump. Isan Adil goes Yorker and finishes the job in what has been a clinical bowling performance from the Stallions X, restricting this powerful batting lineup to just 118 runs, and one that they'll feel very good about chasing in this semi-final to put themselves a place in tomorrow's finale.
Right in the block hole, full and straight, exactly what the doctor ordered. If you are Isan Adil, that's exactly what you wanted to have done. And what an absolutely brilliant bowling performance. The vaunted Atlanta Fire batting lineup has been reduced to tatters. Look at this scorecard. The highest score that we see here, Sami Aslam 28 from 26, Stephen Taylor 22 from 28, Aaron Jones 21 from 11, and those are the only three that got into the 20s. The rest falling away either single digits or just in the teens. And what an absolutely brilliant bowling spell by the entire Stallion side, led by Gudakesh Moti. 3 overs, check that, 4 overs, 3 for 28. Isan Adil 2 overs or 2 wickets for 21. Ravi Bopara 4 economy rate and 2 for 16. Tremendous bowling all the way down for the Stallions.
Well, that will end the coverage of the first innings. Don't go too far. We'll have a resumption very soon, where the Stallions X will need 119 for victory. Welcome back to the action in the 2022 Atlanta Open. It's the Atlanta Fire up against the Stallions X. And boy, did the Atlanta Fire need a miracle from here on in, because they've only got 118 runs on the board. They're going to need something special to go their way if they want to place in tomorrow's final. And it's going to be Raheem Cornwall with the new ball in hand. So Cornwall with the new ball, bowling to the dangerous Cheyenne Jangir, as well as Tajinder Singh. Jangir has really struck the ball nicely in this tournament. 100 in this group stages already. And then earlier today, Cheyenne Jangir getting runs for this Stallions X team to put them in this semi-final. He got 62 from 27. Tajinder Singh 60 from 24. And this partnership just took the game completely away from the UMMC Knight Riders. 102 runs between them. And listen to this, in just 42 deliveries, 102 and 42 was the partnership. And if they have a similar innings, well, this will be over very soon. So Raheem Cornwall is two outside the circle, deep mid wicket, long on. It's pretty standard for the off spinner. Looking to sweep and finds the fielder Tajinder Singh. Cornwall with his off spin, he is battling that knee injury, but of course needing early wickets. Aaron Jones goes to him early, and over the man inside the circle. Liam Solomon at that short third position. It was in with a chance of a catch, came off the outside edge, but in the end it goes over the rope for a boundary. First of the innings. As Brian Walters rejoins me. Brian, good day to you.
Good day, Nikhil. We may have a shortened match here. One way or the other. I don't think this is going to go 20 overs. Because either the Fire sets a really, really aggressive field and takes a lot of quick wickets, or Cheyenne Jahangir and company do similar to what they did in the first game this morning and get this game over with in about 14 or 15 overs.
Well, they need to get Jahangir. That would be the man that they want to dismiss. 27 ball 100 it was earlier this season. And Cornwall may be the man to dismiss him. Not afraid to bowl to two right-handers. The off-spinning Cornwall, he has that carom ball that goes the other way. So far they've been tentative. There's 7 runs from the first 5.
This is good, productive stuff from this opening pair. Of course, if you're chasing a target where at the beginning of the innings you only need to score 5.95 and over to win, every single takes you there, and that is not a single. In fact, that's 6 singles. What a stroke by Cheyenne Jahangir. My
Not
goodness.
Tajinder Singh it was that hit it over long off.
My apologies. That was Tajinder Singh. In the slot, has to be said by Rakeem Cornwall. Just extending those forearms and smashing that over long off for a big 6. That is the end of the first over. Score is 13 without loss.
Big first over for the Stallions X side. It's going to be Everett Dyer from the other end, and really you can see Aaron Jones going to his wicket-taking options. Dyer's been leading wicket-taker in this tournament. He's the second leading wicket-taker, the most wickets on the Atlanta Fire. And he picked up 4 wickets in a player of the match performance earlier today. He needs to recreate something similar.
Dyer, of course, bowling first change in the first match this morning. That's where he took his 4 wickets, but being asked to open the ball, share the new ball.
What a shot!
Oh my goodness.
Expansive drive. And Cheyenne Jahangir, well, this man is in some serious touch, and the Atlanta Fire in some serious trouble.
And looking at the replay again, hammering it through extra cover. See that big backswing, that elevated backswing, and crashing it through the line of the ball. Cheyenne Jahangir is in a good vein of form and easily putting that one away through extra cover for 4. Worrying signs here for the Fire.
Just too full from Everett Dyer. He's got to pull that length back to Cheyenne Jahangir. Goes short this time. It's gone straight up. 2 fielders under it. And Amila Ponzo loses it in the sun. And really should have been his catch. He looked like he wanted to take it and then completely just lost sight of the ball. Those are always difficult because you look at the sky, no clouds in the sky, it's just that light blue, and the ball sometimes gets lost.
I would be sympathetic to Emilio Ponce on that occasion. He had a long run, never easy running backwards to take that. So whether or not he'd actually lost that in the sun, I don't know that he'd have gotten all the way there to be able to take that catch.
And unfortunately, you're only defending 118. You've got to take your chances because of strokes like this. Cheyenne Jahangir, a man on a mission.
The deficit is already under 100. Cheyenne Jahangir racing along to 12 from just 5 balls faced. Captain looks like he wants to put this game over with inside the power play, Nikhil.
Well, destruction so far. You look at the current run rate, 15 and over. So, well on top of the game at this stage, and this is what the Fire had to account for when they opted to bat first. Needed to get something substantial on the board. Jahangir looking to pull. Didn't quite time it, but look at the quickness coming back for 2 as well. Speed by these 2.
Looking to pull, but look at the replay in the kill. See that he advanced down the track. He is in a mode to dominate this innings. Look at this replay. Look how the couple of steps that he takes down, advancing toward Everett Dyer. Taking him on. Cheyenne Jahangir really looking in an aggressive mood.
Just helped along the way now by Jahangir. This over has gone for 16 runs. And Everett Dyer, a man that's been in the wickets. Nothing close to a wicket as yet. Down the leg side, not a great line, you have to say.
The line is absolutely what was wrong with that one. Jahangir already in a very aggressive mode, but you're helping him by bowling that line with fine leg inside the circle. That's Atindra Subramanian, the quickest and youngest of all the players on the field, but under no circumstances would he or anyone else have gotten to that one. Easily put away for 4.
And straight away, Cornwall comes out of that slip position, goes into extra cover, so had to make a defensive change. Everett Dyer. This time hit back over his head. Mid on up in the circle. What an over for Jahangir and the Stallions X. End of 2. They're 33 for none. And it's given 6 as well. So Everett Dyer really conceding. And Cheyenne Jahangir, my goodness. This man just not the biggest by any stretch of the imagination, but he's middling the ball. 22 runs off the second. 35 for none. Just the one over from Raheem Cornwall from this northern end. It's going to be Cornet Dry. And boy, will he be bowling with some pressure, because 35 for after 2. 17 runs and over, and it's been all about Cheyenne Jahangir. 24 from 8.
Well, you mentioned that he's not very big, but if you've ever shaken Cheyenne Jahangir's hand, he is the strongest grip of anybody that you've ever seen, and that's because he takes his weight training very seriously. Works out several times a week, has a gym at home in his garage, and he takes his weight training very seriously. He's much, much stronger than you might think and able to put those balls away with ease.
Hitting him on the pad, but definitely down the leg side. So Sharma able to get off strike straight away. And it brings the destructive Cheyenne Jahangir back on strike. Well, what the Atlanta Fire will take some solace knowing is that this Stallions X team struggled to chase 121. They did it in the end, but it came in 19 overs. That was against the Unique Tigers in the second match of their group stage. But the key thing, it was a different field, it was different conditions. And this will be more runs, but Everett Dyer down at fine leg. And look at the awareness from Jahangir to come back for 2. He wants to face every delivery, Cheyenne Jahangir. Corner Dry, not a happy man.
This is good cricket. Thick inside edge, running down to backward square leg. And I do agree with Corny Dry. You would expect that the fielder down there at fine leg would have gotten that ball back in more quickly than that. But Cheyenne Jahangir sprinting through when he saw the opportunity to get that second run. So they're off and running. My goodness. Scoring at the rate of 16.29 and over. Only needing to score from here at 4.58 to win.
Oh, went really hard at that one, Jahangir. I wonder though about this slip, because clearly the mood that Cheyenne Jahangir is in, probably want to be a bit more defensive. He's got that slip in place, Corner Dry. He's taking a risk because you see a massive gap in the onside between the man at that straight mid wicket position and deep backward square. So I think that's what Jahangir is targeting. If he gets bat on ball and it goes into the onside, he most likely get a 4 or 6. And Corner Dry at that length, taking a big risk going short. Full this time and driven, but straight to mid-off.
Oh, I sure do hate to disagree with you, Nikhil. There's only 80 more runs, make that 79 more runs needed, and there's still 104 balls to face. I think you need wickets. You absolutely have to have wickets. Corny Dry, as a right-handed pace bowler, will be swinging it. If there's any swing or any seam movement, you expect it to be away from the right-hander. I think you have to keep a slipping, probably through the entire innings. If a 4 happens, a 4 happens. But you don't have very many runs to play with.
Again, getting away with one, you could say. Corner Dry going short. Yes, he's got deep backward square, but 2 fielders in front of square on the leg side. He's taking a big risk because if Tajinder Singh can just get some bat on ball, probably will be able to find the boundary. So far though, anticlimactic you could say. This over has just gone for 3 runs. He's got to close out well, Corner Dry. That run rate's still at over 13.5. Again, another shorter delivery on corner drive. A tall man. Good over though for the Atlanta Fire. Needed that. End of 3, 39 for none. Well, Aaron Jones trying everything at this stage. Everett Dyer is over. Very expensive. And now he's going back to Emilio Ponzo, who's been his consistent new ball bowler with his left arm spin. Just the one over for Everett Dyer. 22 runs.
Oh.
Jahangir not too phased by the fact that Dyer's picked up 9 wickets in this tournament.
I think you're asking Everett Dyer, excuse me, to have done something that he's not done so far. He's picked up most of those wickets from the position of being a first change bowler. So you're bowling either deep into the power play or outside the power play. Asking him to bowl the second over is going to be a little bit different.
Really good start by Emilio Ponzo. His left arm spin, he'll be under some pressure though. Bowling to Shayan Jahangir. You look at Jahangir in this tournament, second most runs, 243, an average of over 100, and that's because of his performances. Really has been special to watch, you can have to say. His strike rate is it's been over 200 in this 5 matches he's played, and just been dismissed twice. Didn't sustain an injury to the face area yesterday when he was wicket-keeping, but really good to see he's back firing at the top for his Stallion side. The captain, the leader of this team. Pulls in front of square and will get a boundary. Just races like a bullet into that onside, and after brief hiatus, the carnage continues.
I think you'll see that this ball is just dropped down a little too short. Not quite a half tracker, but easily short enough for Tajinder Singh to recognize the length and then immediately pull that away through mid-wicket for yet another 4. So 44 runs on the board, another 75 needed from 99 balls, Nikhil. I cannot believe that we're talking about how close this game is to being finished, and still 10 wickets in hand.
Well, you look at the best teams in T20 cricket, they're able to make full use of the first 6 overs. You have fielding restrictions, you have batters that go at the top. Look at some of the best teams in the world cricket. In Australia, David Warner at the top of the order. In India, Rohit Sharma. England, Joss Butler. There is so powerful specialist in the power play, you could say, and it helps your team. This one is in the air and just out of the reach of mid-on. Would have been the first wicket, needed to be the first wicket for the Atlanta Fire. Instead, it's another boundary.
Wow. Shayan Jahangir maybe taking a bit of a chance. Look where he's batting. He always bats outside of off stump to those spinners coming from around the wicket. And I think his heart would have been in his mouth as he hit that ball towards mid-on. Mid-on fielder. Had it been corny dry, he might have been able to jump up and catch that at his height. But mid-on fielder not able to get to it. So 4 more to Shayan Jahangir, who is on a mission. 32 from 14. 4 fours and a 6.
Yeah, just belief. Backing himself, Shayan Jahangir. That's why he's opting to bat outside of his off stump, because he believes and backs himself that no matter where the ball is, he can make contact and get bat on ball. And once he does that, in this power play, he's got enough power to find the boundary. 1 delivery remaining in this over. Ponzo, after a good start, now has conceded 10 runs. Not ideal when you're only defending 118 runs.
You know, it's really interesting. He bats outside of his off stump, and I don't mean taking an off stump guard. I mean his entire foot is outside the line of off stump. He does that both to left arm spinners bowling around the wicket and to right-handers bowling over the wicket. It's a very unique sort of batting stance. Somehow does it effectively. You would think somebody who's batting with that stance might be susceptible to being bowled behind his back, but it really is unique. He's always done that, and I think it speaks of good hand-eye coordination, and really to some extent it could upset the bowlers a little bit because they would not have been accustomed to somebody taking such a guard when they're facing him.
Of course, behind us, the second semi-finals just take a small break because they're trying to find the ball, which I think has been found. Sam Army up against the Atlanta Lightning in a very enticing matchup. Both these teams, all four of these teams you could say, want to be in tomorrow's final. Sam Army posting 173 on the board, so could be a close one. So Ponzo will close out this over. Oh, look at that. Just delicate from Jahangir. Cut off though by Atinja Subramaniam, looking to play the reverse sweep. He will retain the strike, and the Atlanta Fire in some trouble at the moment. End of 4:49, make that 50 for none. End of 4, 50 for none. Just some 69 runs away. The Stallions X team, and this man Cheyenne Jahangir has been unstoppable so far. Already has 100 in this Atlanta Open, and he'll be looking for much more. He's in good touch. And earlier today, caught 66. And these two put on 102 runs together.
Cornadry persisting with that short delivery.
So far it's worked though. They haven't been able to
absolutely
score.
has worked. He has a lot of pace, and even though Cheyenne Jahangir, you'd think he knows that it's coming, but not able to catch up to it, which then begs the question, why do we not have a fine leg deep? Because I think if there's any bat on it, that's where it will be going.
This time cuts, and probably just getting a bit predictable, Cornadry. And this is a beatdown, to say the least, by Cheyenne Jahangir specifically.
Oh my goodness, what an assault on the bowling by Cheyenne Jahangir. That same short length by Cornadry, but this time the problem was the line being too wide, well wide of off stump, and it allowed Cheyenne Jahangir to open up and cut that one away over the top. Didn't time it cleanly, but still able to get 4 for it.
This time even shorter, and did he get some bat on it? Saw a bit of a deflection. Warning given, 1 for the over.
So that's exactly what I'm referring to. That fielder is at backward square leg. All of these balls that have been missed, that have been straight enough, have been flying over the top edge of the bat. So I would want to see that fine leg go a lot finer. In fact, he's now bringing him squarer, which to me does not make a lot of sense. You've beaten the batters for pace the last several times with that same type of short ball.
But I think Brian, if you have that fine leg fielder, you open up the entire leg side. So you have that man at deep backward square. It plays a safer route, and it's about the line as well. Cornadry looking to go outside that off stump. That's why he has that deep third as the 2 outside. Only 2 can be outside that 30-yard circle.
Interesting. So 2 balls remaining here in the 5th. Cornadry into his 2nd over. I think it's easily the case that he's been the best of the bowlers so far. 4 bowlers used so far, including Cornadry. He's the only one who's not yet gone for runs.
He's bowling well, Cornadry, and I think he'll need to be continued by Aaron Jones, the captain. They need to take wickets. That's the only way they have a chance of winning this game. the Atlanta Fire. Jahangir, 38 from 19 deliveries and could be eyeing another half century in this tournament.
Short again.
Think so?
Yep.
Goes full this time and it's picked up. Hasn't timed it, Jahangir, but again safe. And sometimes when it's going your way, it just continues to fall in your favor. And Liv Solomon misjudged it. First, didn't expect it, but that breeze blowing across the ground may have just helped it take it a few extra yards. Chances created in that over though. None taken. End of 5:58 for none. Just 61 runs needed, and really, you see any way back for the Atlanta Fire? Is there any chance of them coming back into this game? And if they do, what does Aaron Jones need to do to ensure that they can come back?
I think you have to keep fielders in catching positions. You have to have a slip. If Corner Drive's plan is to try to bounce somebody out, then you have a fielder down, either backward square, third, or fine leg. I'm satisfied with either one. But a defensive field is not going to work at this point. At this stage, they're looking for 4 runs and over with 10 wickets in hand. The only thing that you can do as a fielding side is try to force the issue and try to take wickets. If they go for runs, they go for runs. But the only choice from here is to be able to attempt to take wickets.
You don't see them slowing up. The Stallions X hit in front, looking to play that sweep to Jinder Singh.
Big appeal. Umpire Owen Brown says no. You'll see the replay from around the wicket. I think easily slanting down the leg side. No question. Going on with the arm. It was the arm ball. Not out. Oh.
Another swing and a miss. So a couple of good overs here from the Fire, but you think damage has been done. They're well on their way in this run chase to Stallion X. This time goes down the ground, and he's got all of that. And the cars out there have to be careful. That one traveled a long way. And then Maximum.
Absolutely delicious shot. That is Tajender Singh, who is now getting into the action. Up to 23 from 13. Look at that clean strike. Not much turn on that delivery. Just really going on with the arm, as I mentioned before. He essentially is bowling arm balls at this stage, Aponso. And it was in the slot, and it absolutely got the treatment. Big hit into the parking lot. And we're now more than halfway through this chase. Unbelievably, we're still inside the power play.
This will be sending a warning if they do go on to get that final against either Sam Army or the Lightning. If they do get there, this will be sending a warning to teams. Look out for this batting lineup. They haven't really used Shehan Jayasuriya much in this tournament. And Nkrumah Bonner with his international experience. That is huge. May have just bounced inside. And yeah, given a boundary, but first a maximum, then a boundary, 10 off the over so far. And Amila Ponzo coming on the inside of that delivery, Singh, and just helping along its way. Innovative batting at the moment from the Stallions X.
Walking across his stumps, and that one actually did turn. That was not an arm ball, so it turned back toward the huge slog sweep by Tajinder Singh. Maybe that little turn is what prevented it from being a 6.
Much quicker delivery this time, and he gets a dot. But just 51 runs needed. It's come in no time as well. Quick.
Unbelievable. So Roddy in the production area thinks this will be over in the 11th over. I say the 9th. What do you say?
I'm not ready to call just yet. I'm waiting to see if the Fire can maybe get 3 wickets in and over.
No. Who is being political?
Goes straight up. This could be the first one. Rishi Pandey, the substitute fielder, takes the catch. And boy, do they need that. The Atlanta Fire. No real celebrations because the damage has been done. But Tajinder Singh, after 27 from just 16, he's got to depart.
Yeah, just maybe hitting out just a little too much. I think you were exactly right when you say that they were trying to send a message to whoever is watching about their capabilities with the bat. Maybe trying to send that message a little too strongly. That does result in the fall of Tajinder Singh. He goes for 27 from 16 balls faced, 3 4s and 2 6s. At the end of the power play, score 68 for 1.
End of the power play, 68 for 1, 51 needed, and just 3.5 runs per over. Expect this one to be done sooner rather than later. And just not enough runs on the board for the Atlanta Fire. Shehan Jayasuriya comes to the middle now, the Sri Lankan left-hander. And really not enough runs for the Atlanta Fire. Got a good start with their opener, Stephen Taylor, Rakeem Cornwall, but the momentum not going their way, and you had to question when they came up against a formidable bowling lineup like the Stallions team, would it last? Today hasn't quite gone their way. Corner dry, continuing, starts with a wide.
Corner dry continuing. He is into his 3rd over, and again, easily I think the best of all bowlers that have been on display here for the Fire. There's no point in holding back any of your bowlers. If they're excelling with the ball, you keep them on because you don't know whether or not they'll have the chance to come back and have a second spell.
Flicked off the leg, just another single. When you look at this tournament though, you really have to give the organizers credit, Brian Walters, just to have this degree of players, quality players, all in one place for these 5 days. And we're now down to 4 teams, but the quality international caliber, is an ICC sanctioned tournament, of course. To see this much quality in the tournament speaks to a lot to the quality that we have on display.
You're absolutely right. And look, the logistics that are involved in hosting a tournament of this magnitude says a lot about the capabilities of the organizers. Just a tremendously high level of cricket being played. You have players here from as far afield as the South Continent, from Southeast Asia is what I meant, and England, all over the U.S. Just a tremendous, tremendous effort. Look at this great shot by Jayasuriya. Ball racing down to that fielder at backward 3rd.
Good piece of fielding though from Everard Dyer. Puts his body in front. And it's tough to field actually on the boundary because you get some indifferent bounce that can really just throw you off as a fielder.
Corner dry, just big fast bowler trying his best, bowling his heart out. You can tell. Right arm over the wicket to the left-hander Jayasuriya. Look at that carry through to Jamar Hamilton. Well, you love seeing that as a fast bowler.
Yeah, I think he's getting some assistance from the wind as well. So bowling with the wind and just helping him get that bit of extra push. But unfortunately for Corner dry, it's going to be tough for him to perform a miracle. That's what's needed at this stage. Just 47 runs required from the remaining 13.5 overs.
Of course, he only has 9 balls remaining in his spell.
Again, very stylish, just opening the face. And with that angle, over the wicket, across the left-hander, he'll use that. Shehan Jayasuriya. But again, just another single. Jahangir, has slowed down a touch. But
I think the point has been made with the start that they've had. No reason for him to keep the gas to the pedal to the metal, as they say. Doesn't need to do that the entirety of the innings. The fight has been taken out of the fire. It's just a matter of just negotiating victory from here.
Slower delivery this time, and Jahangir missing out. He's struggled with deliveries on that length, that shorter length. He's really been unable to capitalize. And probably teams will be looking at that and seeing how they can limit him, Shayan Jahangir. But since that wicket of Tajinder Singh has fallen, has just become a lot more conservative and sort of lost some rhythm in his innings. But he's still there, that's the main thing. And the longer he remains there, the sooner this one will be over. Oh wow, that's big. That is big. One of the biggest we've seen in the Atlanta Open 2022. Just too short by Cornet Dry, and finally Jahangir getting back on one and helps it well over the boundary for 6.
Now this short ball did not get up as much as the others did. This was maybe around chest height, and you see how quickly Shayan Jahangir pounces on this. Look at this. Bang! Absolutely blasting it over backward square, sailing away for 6. Stephen Taylor is not happy with what I'm saying, but unfortunately, that is a big 6 to end things here in the 7th. 79 for 1.
After he bowled the first over, Raheem Cornwall, change of ends now for him. Into the attack from the southern end. First over went for 13 runs, and now with the left-handed Shayan Jayasuriya there at the crease, probably look to prize the wicket. With that ball spinning away, Aaron Jones standing at slip, trying to be aggressive. You have to be at this stage, looking for wickets.
I certainly don't mind Raheem Cornwall bowling here, and I think bowling to Shayan Jayasuriya, who's only been at the wicket for 3 deliveries, and of course he is an off spinner, so he'll be turning the ball away from Jayasuriya. See the captain himself, Aaron Jones, in position at first slip.
Starts with a single. So Cornwall just ensuring he has the right field. Slip coming out now for Jahangir. And going into the onside Aaron Jones. At sort of that 45 position. For that little tuck in the onside, trying to prevent the single. Jahangir really strikes the ball powerfully, but picks out Rishi Pandey at extra cover. Stallions, of course, had 2 teams in this tournament. Their other team, the Stallions.
Oh, cheeky.
Very cheeky, but just be a single. Their Stallions team, the first team, was eliminated in that quarterfinal against Sam Army. Army Singh, or Mohammad Irfan, Ramiz Raja, Sharjil Khan. So pretty stacked lineup. They're here supporting their second team, those Stallions X, who have 1 foot in the door in tomorrow's final. Taking his time here at the moment, Shayan Jayasuriya.
No reason for him to do anything untoward. He's a great batter. In the recently concluded minor league season, he was the 2nd-ranked batter in the tournament behind his teammate, his captain.
Very short, and goes through everyone. Hamilton, and I think it's going to be 5 wides as well. I think Rushain Samuels at square leg is indicating it came off the bat. So runs given. Wow. But Raheem Cornwall trying to surprise Jayasuriya with that short, quick delivery that he has up his arsenal.
Well, it surprised all of us. I've seen him bowl that delivery before. Wasn't expecting it here, but it took off absolutely. Of course, Raheem Cornwall, a very tall man, so when he bends his back, he can get that type of delivery in.
Yeah, easy batting at the moment. Very easy.
Oh, yeah.
Ends a good over. 7 from it. All that's required at this stage. End of 8, 86 for 1. more seam into the attack. Just 33 runs needed. It's going to be Atinja Subramaniam. In this beautiful game of cricket, can only be one winner and of course one loser. And right now it's looking like it will be the Stallions X side that will go into tomorrow's final. Jahangir has led his team well, first on the field behind the stumps, and now with the bat in hand. Remember, this Fireside were the best team out of the 8 qualifying for the quarterfinal. They had the highest net run rate after they pummeled Square Drive, posted 326.
Young Atindra Subramanian, good young pacer, but he's up against a stiff challenge here. The left-handed Shehan Jayasuriya and a rampant Shayan Jahangir. He's on 48 from 25, 5 fours and 2 sixes. Subramani bowling around the wicket to Jayasuriya.
An interesting angle, trying to attack the stump, trying to take wickets. Doesn't want to be over the wicket, wide outside that off stump. But I think Jahangir, knowing that Subramaniam is a youngster, hasn't played much in this Atlanta Open, maybe just looking to go after him.
I would not be surprised if he attacks him. In fact, I'd be disappointed if he didn't. Hate to say that. Look where he's batting.
Just 2 away from a half century now.
Yep.
Shayan Jahangir, very close to that most runs in the tournament, and likely will have another opportunity to add to that tally tomorrow. Takes it on. Stephen Taylor's there waiting, and Stephen Taylor takes it easily. And you think maybe too little too late, but they've got the danger man. Just Jahangir, sorry. And Atinja Subramaniam in his first over able to get a wicket.
What a big wicket for the youngster. We thought that that Shahan Jahangir would be going after him. If we see on the replay, look how he advances down the wicket there. Advancing down the wicket and stepping to the leg side, looking to access that offside, make that stepping to the offside, looking to access the leg side, and hitting it cleanly, but straight to Stephen Taylor, who is not going to drop that type of catch. Straight to him, and a great start to this innings by the captain himself. He will feel disappointed somewhat that he did not get to his 50, but I think the hard work has been done. 87 for 2.
Yeah, destructive innings from Shayan Jayasuriya. It brings Ravi Bopara to the middle, and Nkrumah Bonner, who usually is batted at 4 in this season, still to come, and a lot of batting to come. Shubham Ranjani as well, so don't think there'll be any worry for the Stallions X. The hard work has been done. They're just 32 runs away from victory.
How about the youngster holding his nerve there? You think that he would have known that Shayan Jahangir was going to be coming after him, but holding his nerve, sticking to his disciplines, and making sure that that ball was in the right area. And because that ball was in the right area, Shayan Jahangir only able to hold out to Stephen Smith. I really do have the NBA on my mind. Stephen Taylor in the deep. Good bowling by the youngster.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you think, look at this situation now. Another game, the Fire could have started to pull things back. When you only have 32 more runs to get, with all that batting from the Stallions X, they're going to need something. Ask of what Harmeet Singh was able to do today. 4 wickets, picked up 2 in 1 over.
Wow.
That's going to be the only way you get back into this game if you're the Atlanta Fire.
Look at that delivery. That is a great ball. On the length and spitting upward at the former international player, Ravi Bopara. That is a good ball by the youngster.
Bit of extra bounce on that occasion, Atinja Subramaniam, and just hitting the shoulder of the bat. So a couple of dots. It's a good start from the youngster Subramaniam. Tons of ability, just 17 years old, and was put in some pressure situations this season in the minor league. Surely one for the future. Bopara still yet to get off the mark. 3 dots he's faced, just 1 delivery remaining in this over. He's conceded just 1 run.
What a great over so far. 1 run only from it, and taking that 1 wicket. First over being bowled by young Atindra Subramaniam. Absolutely love to see the youngsters executing on the big stage. This bodes so well for his future. What an
Almost
absolutely.
taking the outside edge. And then dot to end the ninth. Just one run and a wicket. 87 for 2. Aaron Jones trying to work miracles at this stage. He's going to the leg spin of Zia Shazad. So, Zia Shazad, the leg spinner from Pakistan, bowling to the left-hander. Going to have to work those googlies. Starts at 1, but it's very short. And Shahan Surya puts them in the gap. A much-needed boundary just to continue that flow of runs. 28 needed.
Meat and drinks. Doesn't matter if this is a googly or the regulation leg spinner. It was too short. Jazz Surya just going back onto the back foot and spanking it in front of square for 4. Huge gap out there between the man at mid-wicket and the man at long on, and expertly exploited by Jazz Surya.
Yeah, and being from Sri Lanka, if you watch Shahan Surya, goes through that substitute fielder Zain Saeed, should come through for us too. If you watch Shahan Surya, you know that he's so capable against spin. For the Silicon Valley Strikers, he was purposely sent up the order to try and attack against spin. And very capable, so we'll relish this opportunity. Already taken 6 from the first 2 deliveries. Just 26 runs to get. This time sweeps, but there's that man at deep mid-wicket. Of course, finals tomorrow of the Atlanta Open. Expected to be the Stallions X facing either the Sam Army or the Lightning. That matchup also happening on the MLC Network. But of course, you can join us from 10 a.m. The coverage begins in the grand finale. And only one team can be victorious. Last year was the Atlanta Lightning. Who will it be this year? Goes across, looking to hit that into the onside. Bopara misses out on occasion.
To sweep that one away. The line going down leg, so no danger in give it out LBW.
Hit powerfully, but there is that long on fielder, and it goes over him, misfield, and I mentioned that indifferent bounce. It is difficult to field at the boundary at times, and Emilio Ponzo got his body behind it, but it just bounced off of him and went into the boundary. And more runs coming for the Stallions X against the Atlanta Fire.
Another short delivery and absolutely slammed away. This is Bopara now just turning this one to short fine. That completes the over. 99 for 2 after 10. $99 for 2. Young Atindra Subramaniam, after a successful first over where he only conceded 1 run and took the wicket of the captain Sharon Jahangir is coming back for his second over. We're halfway through the innings, only 20 runs needed.
Very full this time, Subramaniam. He's bowled well, though. It's a pity that he won't have more runs to defend, because really and truly would have liked to get in his 4-over spell, look to take wickets, but the Fire batting just not putting their hand up today and not getting the requisite runs. 118 in a semi-final game, when you have really the par score of the tournament being 200, well below par, even in a knockout game. Have to be better, I think, the Fire, and really and truly the top order that has done so well all season for them, with Cornwall, with Taylor, Aaron Jones, Sami Aslam, not firing today. Around the wicket, Subramaniam just opens the face and times it well, gets it past Dyer at short third, and more runs for Shayan Jayasuriya.
Just opening the face and running it down the hill, getting it square enough where the diving Everard Dyer at backward point could not get to it. And again, we've said it a few times already, this outfield is lightning fast.
104.
Anything going down that hill is going to be 4 if it's not stopped inside the circle.
100 coming up as well. 104 now for 2. And just 15 runs required for victory. Again in that area, but this time Everard Dyer takes the catch, and it's the second wicket for Atindra Subramaniam. He's bowled well and almost using Shayan Jayasuriya's strength against him to get that wicket.
Well, the bright spot for the Atlanta Fire is the bowling by young Atindra Subramaniam. It's ball outside off, attempting to cut that one away with Jayasuriya, and only succeeding in cutting it head height right at Everard Dyer, who takes a pretty straightforward catch at backward point. The third wicket goes down, the second by young Subramaniam. Score is now 104 for 3.
So when you are finished the action here, don't forget you can join semi-final number 2 on the MLC Network, of course on YouTube. But you really expect Ravi Bopara with his experience to see it home for his team. As Shubham Ranjani walks out to the middle. Another one of those many options that Stallions X. But I think, Brian, one thing that the team who faces the Stallions X tomorrow will look at is if you take wickets and especially dismiss the openers early, you then open up into a middle order. And it's the same type of situation that we've had for the Atlanta Fire, where the top order has fired all tournament and the middle order hasn't had much work to do, barring a few innings that they've really had to make contributions. So the likes of Ranjani, some of the others in this batting lineup, I want to expose them early and ask them to bat for long periods of time. Excellent start from young Subramaniam.
I absolutely agree with that. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time when you have a top order that's capable of scoring as heavily and as quickly as Rakeem Cornwall and Stephen Taylor can. If they get out cheaply, they have not had, the middle order has not had the time in the middle to be tested and to have, let's say, a match-ready practice. And that obviously can sometimes work against you, as it did today.
Driving nicely, Ranjani off the mark. Another single to the tally and another run off the deficit. 14 away from victory in this semi-final now. The Stallions X side.
Subramaniam 1 over, 2 for 7, or 1.5 overs rather, 2 for 7 with 1 ball to come. Forced off the back foot, good looking stroke, and it's cornered dry in the deep. Comes right across and prevents them from running for 2, but a good over, yet another good over by young Atindra Subramaniam. 106 for 3 after 11.
Leave Solomon for the first time today into the attack. Just on over from Zia Shazad. It was expensive. Bopara has been a tad bit slow, and I think that's probably the thinking from the Stallions X to send Bopara and send Shubham Ranjani earlier than someone like an Nkrumah Bonner, just to try and give them some match practice heading into the final. Let's pick that one up. Ravi Bopara in the gap in the vacant leg side region, and I think it's gone all the way for 6 as well. It has, and Ravi Bopara just sitting back and waiting on that one length delivery. Gets 6 of them.
Tremendous strike by Ravi Bopara. Of course, somebody who's played at the highest level for as long as he has is not going to have any problems with that length ball on leg stump. Easily helping it away over mid-wicket for 6. So just now 8 more runs to complete truly a comprehensive victory here for the Stallions X.
May want to finish in this over as well. Ravi Bopara in there for a while. It'll be really good for him, who's contributed so much with the ball. Look at that! Oh my goodness, statement piece. Put that in a museum, Ravi Bopara. Back over his head for 6.
This is a much better strike than that 6 before. This is a classical cricket drive. Look at this, just an elevated off drive. Look at the high front arm coming up right there. Absolute textbook. Beautiful stroke by Ravi Bopara right down the ground for 6. And now only 2 runs separate the Stallions X from a place in the finals tomorrow morning. In fact, the scores are level. So the next run wins this match for the Stallions X. What an absolutely dominating effort for them.
That's the win, a boundary to seal the deal. And the Stallions X are in tomorrow's Atlanta Open 2022 final for a chance to win this tournament. And what a performance set up by their bowlers, and then the openers making light work of this small total, getting it inside 12 overs. 122 for 3. Quite easily done in the end. For the Atlanta Fire, well, they'll have to go back to the drawing board. It was a good performance. They were unbeaten to this stage. But in the end, when they came up against a formidable bowling attack, that batting just wasn't able to hold up.
Boy, look at that scorecard. Shayan Jahangir, the captain at the top. 48 from 26, 48 of the most aggressive runs you'll see. Tajinder Singh partnering him in that opening partnership, 27 from 16. Shayan Jayasuriya chipping in 21 from 13. Then Ravi Bopara finishing things with a few lusty blows toward the end, 23 not out. For the bowling, boy, the only bowler who stood out for me, well, actually 2. One was Cornidry, who bowled aggressively and kept things quiet. And then young Atindra Subramaniam, 2 overs and 2 for 8. But all the other bowlers will not want to remember this day for very long. Only 3 wickets taken, and in consequence, those 3 wickets didn't really matter. This was just really was a very one-sided affair.
Well, there you have it. Easy win in the end by some 7 wickets, and we do have one of 2 finalists in tomorrow's matchup. Join the second semi-final over on still on MLC Network, where the Atlanta Lightning are taking on Sam Army. But from field number 1, it's bye until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Join us for the coverage, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, where we'll have 2 teams battled out to be victorious in this Atlanta Open 2022, the second edition.